Riverside FM.
Islands are vanishing, swallowed by the sea. But what if it's not just nature's work? This week on Newsworthy, we plunge beneath the surface of disappearing islands, exploring chilling theories of secret military testing, geoengineering gone rogue, and corporate cover-ups. Are these lands truly lost to the waves or to something far more sinister? Tonight on Newsworthy, 2 words and 2 question marks.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. 2 words and 2 question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. When it comes to buying a home, the process can be overwhelming and confusing. With so many options, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why it's important to work with a certified mortgage loan originator. I have the knowledge and expertise to guide you through the process and find the best mortgage option for you. I will work with you every step of the way to ensure that you are getting the best deal possible. So if you're looking to purchase or refinance, please reach out to me at 502-680-0953. So don't take on the stress of buying a home alone. Work with me and I will make your dream a reality. Trust the professionals and make your home buying experience a positive one. MLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, MLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is equal housing opportunity.
Woo! Woo!
Both of your guys' favorite part, by far.
we getting pumped up in here.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Newsworthy. 2 words, 2 question marks. I'm Steve.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Jerry.
Can you imagine? Brett has been here for 2 weeks in a row.
How about
3
that?
weeks.
He hasn't needed a back braiding. He hasn't needed a beard waxing. He hasn't needed a toenail clipping. He's been here and in present 3 weeks in a row.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Our ratings are going to go through the roof.
Apparently those people who did those jobs for him last did a really good job, and the back braiding and so on doesn't need to be redone.
Right.
I know.
This last
Fantastic.
2 more episodes, I get on the banner, right?
No. Well, maybe we can put you and Brett down at the end and the bottom.
I saw the last budget. You had wrote in there for markers. If it wasn't for putting him on the banner, what were the markers for?
To mark through his acknowledgments on all the old episodes.
I see.
Hey, you speaking of markers, I gotta say, one of the people talk about the Great Pyramid of Giza as one of humans' most outstanding creations. I think it's the dry erase board.
Yeah.
It's freaking remarkable.
Quite remarkable. I would agree.
Is that the one that you were playing on YouTube?
No, not at all, but it works.
That's a good little segue. I like it.
I like the joke. One of your better ones.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. You didn't laugh.
Wasn't that good?
Well, that's typical.
Rude. What was that little girl on Full House? How rude. It's my favorite.
Twin.
That is basically my
show.
favorite meme to send to, or video to send to Robin when she says something to basically
To your
anytime she opens her mouth to me. Because every
Kinda
time I do,
rude.
well, you got to understand, her humor is here. She's like you. She has a very high standard, and I do not. So everything that I send her, she's like, oh.
And your response is
How rude.
I think of Jar Jar Binks every time.
Oh, yeah, there's Jar Jar. What do
Yeah.
you think? Is he a Darth Sith? Maybe.
Have you seen the Darth Jar Jar video?
I have.
It's pretty convincing.
It is.
Did you see they just put him? They made him Jar Jar in this like Lego show.
It's it's just no. I can't do it.
I like Jar Jar.
Really?
I mean,
I didn't dislike him. But you could tell that there was an obvious black backlash between 1 and 2. You know, it's like, oh, he's here,
right.
here, and then
100%.
oh no, he's
Yeah,
Here,
we're cutting
2
we're cutting
seconds.
him. Yeah.
yeah. So
We're gonna give it a little bit at the beginning and then no more.
he reminded me of Shaggy from Scooby Doo in a lot of ways.
How so?
Just how he walked, his mannerisms.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But oh, yeah.
So we're gonna call this episode Jar Jar.
Yeah, apparently.
No, we're not.
The death of Jar Jar.
Listen, I was out in my backyard last night, Jerry.
Okay.
I don't know why I hit that button. I apologize. But I had to run inside.
What is that?
Because the trees were out there.
Yeah.
It concerned me. Yeah, it's a little shady.
No,
No,
no, not on that one.
rude.
Speaking of trees, I just invented a new game, which I'm calling Silent Tennis.
Silent tennis. Sounds
Silent
interesting.
tennis.
It's like normal tennis, but without the racket.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of hand action, I guess. Steve's quite aware. He's very familiar with that. Go ahead.
That
Tell us how
box-
those games go.
I don't like either one of y'all.
That box is really doing it for him.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What are you
What-
talking
what are
about?
the rules
What
for that?
box? What?
What are the rules for that game?
What game?
Come on, you're an expert at it.
What
The
game?
hand game.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I'll do mine while you're thinking of that. I've got some good news and bad news. The good news, I don't think I told you guys, but I'm decided I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to travel the world until I'm broke.
Oh, where are you going?
Well, the bad news is I'm going to be home in time for breakfast.
This
We're
com-
not very far.
this coming from the man who I've invited him on like 2 or 3 cruises. He's like, no. Have you seen me?
That's-
I will burn.
Well, that's half what I said. The other half that I've said is when you do a Canadian cruise, a European river cruise, or an Alaska cruise, let me know.
I was literally about to say you should just do an Alaska.
Yeah,
cruise, but-
absolutely.
The
Those I would love
problem
to
with
go on.
those are, and as someone who absolutely loves cruising, I really do love it. And I know it's getting a lot of heat. There's a lot of videos, people acting a fool. Stop that, first of all. If you're on a cruise ship, act like you're on a cruise ship. Stop acting like a fool. These people getting on fights over stupid stuff. The best thing that's going to happen to you is you can't ever cruise again. The worst thing is you're going to get put off on some small Caribbean island, not
Find
have
your
a
own way
pass,
home.
not have a passport, and try to figure out how to get back in the country. Congratulations, you're an idiot. So stop that. But just the hardest part for people in Kentucky to do an Alaskan cruise is the cruise is very reasonably priced. The catch is getting the flight there that costs twice
it
as
out of
much as the
Washington?
cruise. Yeah. Usually out of Seattle is where they go out of. Seattle or Tacoma.
Yeah, I mean, I just went on that cruise and just driving to Florida. It's a 12-hour drive. You make it one day.
Yeah.
So we drove down there, but
You're not
Yeah,
going to
it's
drive
excellent.
to Seattle in
no, you're not driving.
one day.
No, it's
I
I
get some
lived in
cheap
Idaho.
flights.
It took me 2 days to drive there. And that's not even all the way to Seattle. I mean, you're still, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Couple
you
states
shoot
away.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on this side of Idaho at that
Yeah.
point. So a lot of difficulty. Tonight's episode, to Jerry's signal, which I apparently completely forgot. Sorry, Jerry. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about disappearing islands. And there are some conspiracy theories as to why these islands are disappearing. Is it global warming? Is it a natural phenomenon? Is it the CIA? Is it military testing?
Is it corporations who decide it would be cheaper if this were no longer there?
Right. And, as a realtor, this is a really concerning topic for me. Because one of the things that I, as a sell, is that they don't make any more land. And if people are out there making land disappear, that makes land even more valuable. So, especially
But actually, that was always true. Sorry to interrupt.
you're
but
good.
what you said earlier had always been true up until the last 30, 40, 50 years. They're not making any more land. Now we are.
Yeah.
Look at China and the South Sea, and they're making islands.
And United Arab Emirates. Gosh, I always have a hard time saying that. UAE.
Right.
They're making huge islands. And not only are they making islands, they're making islands in fantastic arrays. Please check those. Google them. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. And they're 100% functional. They can put whole cities on these islands.
And
that
they
they're
are.
making.
It's
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'd like to do a show at some point about
At the island?
the line. Well, that'd be even better. But the line is something to me that is unbelievable. It is the equivalent of the Egyptians watching the pyramids being built. I think if done to completion as originally intended, the line is going to be a wonder of the world. I really believe that.
Can you explain what that is?
It is so it's a culmination between the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, right? I think it
Probably.
is Qatar. It's a 36-mile long city that is one building.
Yep.
And it is connected. It's actually kind of like a cruise ship. It's got two towers, and they connect at the base, and it's 36 feet or 36 miles long. And inside there are parks and water sources and all the things that you need. It's one self-contained building. I think it's 36 miles.
It's long.
It's long in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
That relies on completely renewable energy, completely reliant upon recycled water and rainwater. It doesn't have any external plumbing. It is completely self-contained. And I really believe if completed as originally stated, it is going to be a wonder of the world. We're talking trillions of dollars
The
to make
money
this
in the
happen.
Middle East.
It's in
is
Saudi
insane.
Arabia, by the way.
Yeah, but
Saudi
the
Arabia.
Middle East has so much money.
How long is it, Jerry? You've looked at it up,
170 kilometers.
which is
Divide that by 1.609.
More
See,
than
this is why you get paid the big bucks.
if you divide it by 2, it's 85. So well over the
well
37.
over 36 miles. I mean, we're like 85 miles. One building.
That's crazy. That's
It's
really
insane.
that's remarkable.
Yeah.
I've also heard that a lot of people think that it will be the blueprint for future
Mega cities.
on other planets.
Yeah.
Because,
can
like you
believe
said,
that.
it's
in the
basically
desert.
self-sustaining.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what you need if you build something on Mars or the moon or wherever.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I just believe that that's going to be a wonder of the world. I don't know how if it's built to the specifications originally. I don't see how it's not. I don't see how any human can look at that and say, "Oh, that's something."
It would also have to last for some period of
Right.
years.
Has anybody living there? Yeah.
It's not built.
Oh,
It's
They're-
planned.
they've
They've started
broken
progress,
ground.
but yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're started. It's the construction is started on it. It's not
Okay.
like some pipe dream on a
Right.
computer. It's literally
Right.
they're building it. But it's what 15 years from before people actually live there.
I don't know. Yeah,
Anywho.
it's absolutely amazing. That's for sure. Single continuous structure,
Yeah,
carbon neutral city is it's gonna.
every
be built
part
on
of
now.
it is a wonder.
It is.
The way that the human waste is converted to fertilizer for the water, and the water is naturally, every part of it is just brilliant.
No cars, no streets,
No, you don't need
transportation.
them.
There's a high-speed rail system.
Yeah.
I hope that has some sort of influence on America because I feel like America has gotten to the point where, I mean, you look at all these new constructions. It's just like all the houses are cookie cutter.
Yep.
All the commercial buildings are boxy, ugly looking buildings. And then you start looking at these you start driving through some of these cities that are newer cities, but like I mean, all these square buildings just look all run down and disgusting. And then you drive through like Cincinnati, for example, like Covington. The houses are beautiful; they're all unique, and then the buildings are beautiful. It's like, why can't we why can't we go back to that type of architecture or architecture? Is like, yeah, that building's actually appealing to look at.
Do you want to pay for it?
That's what I'm
the
saying.
problem.
Oh, that's 100%. I'm not saying that, but I wish we could go back to that.
America has a lot of things. As a realtor, I hear all the time, and this is one of the things I'm just going to be blunt about. I hear this so much. Well, I want a house with character, and I want it to be, I want it to have crown molding and this and that. Okay, and then I show them a house like that, and then we start talking about the problems that 100-year-old house has and will always have. And that, there's a certain level of maintenance that you have to, yes. Are they built great? Yes. Is the lumber real lumber? Absolutely. Is it going to survive the next 56 storms? You better believe it. But are you going to have to work on it every single day? You better prepare yourself for that.
Well, even
because
like
it
the crown
absolutely
molding you're talking about is so expensive.
Yeah. And
So
even if it
expensive.
has it, you have to maintain it. You have to clean it because crown molding collects dust.
But back to Brett's point, why was it affordable 100 years ago and not affordable today?
Yeah.
I don't think it was affordable. I think it
There
was
was
a
a lot of
matter
them
of
built.
pride. I think it was a matter of here's
It
what
had
I
to
mean
be
by that.
affordable if so many
Right.
were
If
built.
somebody, right.
Yes, and I want to say that when a builder associated their name with a home, there was a certain level of pride with that. You get today's builders, and I'll start it with I don't want it because they're a nationwide builder, but a B builder that you could play, sports with. Their houses are very much cookie cutter. You have to have those inspected because sometimes their walls aren't even 90 degrees.
I agree with I think what you're saying is what you want is still out there. Do you want to pay for it?
Right.
Because here's the deal. You can have all these little things, or you can have a home that's 20% bigger and 10% less in price.
Right.
Which do you want to choose? Which one do we choose?
Right.
It's
No,
obvious.
100%. And it's like the
We
pole barn
speak with our
houses.
pocketbooks.
The pole barn houses are.
And if we lucked out on our home. Our home's 100 years old. It has some of those features. It doesn't have all of them. Our
Several.
house was a
Got several of them.
But your house is definitely not a cookie cutter house.
no,
It's definitely designed for aesthetic. I mean,
and
aesthetically
it definitely
pleasing to
cost
look at.
me a myriad of mental stresses for everything that I want to do to it because it's all plaster. It's not drywall. You want to drill a hole in the wall to hang a thing, you have to get a drill out and you have to hope that you have screws that are pushed through the plaster. There's a lot to it. And I just feel like there is room for both. But I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I understand what you're saying. But a lot of times what we want doesn't necessarily mean what we need, if that makes sense.
By the way, before we move on, the first initial phase of this building is expected to be completed by 2030. So 5 years.
5 years. Wow. They'll be living on it in 5 years. Let's get
Which
back
is
to
gonna
what
be
we're
a
talking about
2.4
today.
Kilometer section,
How much?
a 2.4 kilometer section.
Wow.
Small part, but by 2030, that part's supposed to be done. People living in it.
That's about a mile and a half.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
It is.
And it does, believe it or not, it brings us back to what we're talking about today, which is disappearing islands. We're talking about land. We're talking about the ability to live on said land, and some of the land just seems to want to go away for whatever reason. Brett, do you want to bring us in and talk to us a little bit about what's going on here?
So Imagine waking up one day to find your home, your entire island shrinking, swallowed by the ocean. It's not science fiction. It's happening all over the world. So there are a few examples I want to talk about. So first off, in the Pacific Ocean, the Solomon Islands have already lost 5 uninhabited reef islands since the 1940s. On 6 other islands, entire villages have been washed away, forcing residents to relocate. Sea levels there have risen up to 10 millimeters per year since 1993, which is nearly double the global average. Then there's Tuvalu, a nation of 9 coral atolls halfway between Hawaii and Australia. With an average elevation of less than 10 feet, Tuvalu is on the front line of the crisis. Scientists predict by 2050, 50% of its capital, the Nafuti, could be flooded by tidal waters. 2 of its islands are already on the verge of disappearing, with locals reporting nightmares of the sea gobbling them up.
Brett, I have a question.
Yeah.
You said that those islands they were gone because the sea level in those specific spots rose by 11 centimeters?
Yeah, 10 millimeters
10 millimeters.
per year.
How
since
does the ocean
1993.
rise in one place?
Do what?
How does the ocean just rise in one place, not everywhere? I'm asking because I'm curious. If it goes up there, wouldn't it go up on the coast of California? That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Right.
first of all oceans are not connected. But for everything that is connected to that ocean, I agree. I mean, there's things like moon's gravity that affects tides
Sure.
a little bit, but
High, low tides, I get that. Absolutely.
waters will find the lowest, they'll find the
Right.
place of equilibrium. So, good question. I don't know the answer to that. at
Yeah,
all.
I'll get into a little bit of the sea levels.
I'm sorry. I didn't
No,
mean to
yeah, I
jump the gun.
No, and you bring up a really great question because that's something that I was thinking about too with this. I don't know if I really found a perfect explanation, but I'll try and get into it a little bit. So Kiribati is another one. It's another Pacific nation that faces a similar struggle. An atoll of Tarawa, home to half of its 100,000 residents, could become uninhabitable within a generation. The government has since purchased land in Fiji as a potential evacuation site, which is just a chilling acknowledgement of the inevitable. And it's not just the Pacific. Goramara Island in eastern India, once 3.6 square miles, has shrunk to half its size in just 20 years. So driving most of its residents to leave, and those who can't, or those who remain, can't afford to relocate, clinging to the vanishing homeland. So a few scientific explanations of why this is happening. First off, rising sea levels, as we were talking about. The primary culprit is some speculate fueled by climate change. So since 1901, global mean sea levels have risen 15 to 25 centimeters, with a rate accelerating to 14.62 millimeters per year from 2013 to 2022. This is driven by melting ice sheets and glaciers, which contribute to 44% of the rise, and thermal expansion of warming oceans, accounting for another 42%. Low-lying islands such as Tuvalu and the Maldives, with elevations barely above sea level, are hit the hardest. In the western tropical Pacific, do you have a comment?
I did.
Please, by all means.
New Orleans is under sea level. Miami is at sea level. And I
And when the
realize those are on the
levees-
other side. What?
And when the levees give, the entire city's flooded.
Right. No, I get that. But the levees were designed for 100 years ago. That's when they were built. Except for the new ones after Katrina. But for the most part, they've held for 100 years.
No.
Miami has
It's-
been
The
built,
city's flooded numerous times.
but it's still there. It's not just gone. They didn't just pack up and move 100 feet.
It's not a little island like we're talking about some of these islands that's disappearing. What do you think might disappear if New Orleans floods the entire United States?
Well, anything under sea level, for one. Anyway,
Doesn't work like
back
go
this is in the Pacific anyway. We're talking about the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf,
Gulf
of
of
America.
America.
I'm so sorry.
Oh man. So in the Western tropical Pacific, sea levels are rising at nearly twice the global rate, which is 10 to 15 centimeters since 1993. The second scientific explanation is coastal erosion. Erosion is another key player. Storms, cyclones, and surges batter coastlines, washing away soil and vegetation. In Fiji, villages have lost 15 to 20 meters of shoreline due to mangrove loss and wave action. Mangroves and coral reefs, natural barriers against erosion, are themselves under threat from rising temperatures and ocean acidification, which causes coral bleaching. And without these defenses, islands erode faster than they can recover. The third scientific explanation is seismic activity. While less common, seismic activity can exacerbate the problem. In regions like the Pacific Ring of Fire, earthquakes and volcanic activity can cause land subsidence, effectively lowering an island's elevation. So, for example, the 2022 Hunga Hapai volcanic eruption in Tonga triggered tsunamis that worsened coastal erosion across nearby islands. And seismic events can also disrupt underwater ecosystems like coral reefs, further weakening natural protections. Just briefly, I just want to touch on, because I before we started researching this topic, I really haven't heard of any islands vanishing. So why is this underreported? This seems like it should be a big issue, especially as with all the conversation of climate change and trying to protect the environment. Like, this would seem like something that people would refer to quite often, but it's not. And despite these alarming losses, the vanishing shores phenomenon does get dismissed. First, many affected islands are remote with small populations. So, the news is trying to get viewers. So if it doesn't really affect you as a viewer, maybe you won't be as interested as something that's happening a little bit closer to you and affecting more people. Second, there's a perception issue. Some dismiss the crisis as a distant problem. Again, kind of similar to what I was saying there. Finally, there's a lack of resources. Small island developing states like Tuvalu and the Maldives lack the economic power to fund large-scale adaptation or amplify their voices globally. While they've been vocal at forums like the UN COP26, their calls for action often drown in the noise of geopolitics. So there's the result is there's a crisis that is urgent, but it's also somewhat ignored. So that's all I got, Steve.
Why are you looking at me?
I did, by the way, Google. And here's what I typed in. Can parts of an ocean rise in sea level without all parts of that same ocean rising? The answer? Yes, absolutely. It's a common misconception, apparently with little minds like Steve and mine. It's a common misconception that sea level rise is uniform across the globe or even across a single ocean. In reality, parts of an ocean can rise or even fall at far different rates than other parts of that same ocean. It's a long article. Some of the general large reasons: ocean currents and dynamics, ocean eddies, gravitational effects of ice melt, thermal expansions, changes in atmospheric pressure and wind patterns, vertical land movement. Apparently, this does happen and often. So, who knew?
Who knew?
Not you and I.
Not me.
Not
Look,
me.
I'm not a NOAA scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but you gotta, if it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, sometimes you gotta think it's a duck. But Jerry, tell us more.
Well, I'm going to get into the conspiracy theories. Brett has told us basically the scientific. Here's what we know. Here's what we know, that many of these have disappeared. We have maps in some cases that go back to the 1600s or before that show these islands.
Perry Reese map, for example.
Absolutely. Many maps show these islands. And that's pretty good proof when you've got several different maps that show that. We also have, in some cases, images from space. We have actual pictures of these islands existing now. It's no longer there. He talked a lot about why scientists say that they're not there, the official reasons. And I'll be honest, no matter if a bunch of the conspiracy theories are true or not, that does explain the vast majority. There might be some exceptions, but those scientific reasons do explain the vast majority of it. But we're going to talk about some of the conspiracy theories because we know that sometimes in the realm of the unexplained, when the official explanation seems short, sometimes when the changes are too dramatic, too sudden, too perfectly convenient, we begin to ask, well, what if there's more to the story? I think that's the basis for a lot of conspiracy theories is it can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. There's got to be more to it. Now, some of the conspiracy theories, there are plenty of them, from government and corporate cover-ups, secret military testing, geoengineering gone rogue, to the dark underbelly of resource extraction. Let's start with the idea of deliberate cover-ups by governments or corporations. And I just lost my place. For many, the very notion of a disappearing island, especially one with strategic value, that just immediately raises many red flags. Oftentimes, the official narrative of erosion or sea level, again, like we said, can just feel too neat, too convenient, too easily accepted. Conspiracy theorists often claim that certain islands might be deemed strategically inconvenient. Imagine an island that sits directly in the path of a proposed international shipping lane, or perhaps it holds mineral rights that a powerful corporation desperately wants to exploit without the complications of local populations or environmental protesters. And that's huge. I remember I lived in Fredericksburg, Virginia for many years. I remember a couple of times they wanted to build a bridge over the Chesapeake River. And I could not believe the absolute outcry that some of the environmental groups were just losing their minds over a bridge being built that in many cases was absolutely necessary. In many cases, it would have helped alleviate a lot of congestion, which causes even more pollution by getting rid of many, many miles of excessive driving if you could add these bridges in where they were needed, but these guys weren't having it. Anyway, a good example of what we're talking about, Mexico has an island, or used to, called the Bermuda Island. Good example. Located in the Gulf of Mexico, north of the Yucatan Peninsula, Bermuda Island could have granted Mexico access to 22.5 billion barrels of oil. That's what was estimated.
Wow.
It appears on maps from as early as the 16th century up through the 1940s, at which point it simply vanished. Some conspiracy theorists allege that the CIA destroyed Bermuda to prevent Mexico from claiming the oil-rich territory. Others claim that Bermuda position may have interfered with proposed deepwater routes connecting U.S. ports to the Caribbean and South America. Some theorists speculate that removing the island simplified navigation, reduced insurance risk, and allowed for unrestricted vessel movement through the region.
Is it possible that the island had too many people on one side? And
Well, according to that one senator or representative in Congress, it just too many people on the island. They all got on one side. It just tilted and fell over. Believe it or not, that argument was made in Congress by a United States representative. It wasn't a senator. I forget his name.
in talking to an actual
Military general.
It was an admiral, wasn't it?
May have been. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Very high ranking,
Yeah.
and it had some military.
It was talking about Guam, is what he was talking about. The military base on Guam.
Yes. And
Sorry.
he was wondering if too many people got on one side of the island, would the island tilt over and fall into the ocean?
Gosh,
And we
dang.
elect these people.
Oh,
But you know what? I've long said we get the government that we deserve because
Yeah.
we elect these people. We have no one to blame but ourselves. We elect these people.
yeah, it's
Sorry.
we've talked about many elected officials that are just what the heck is going on. Anyways,
Remind me by the end of the show, we need to talk about at least one more.
Still. Now consider this. If you were a nation state and you were trying to develop advanced, potentially world-altering weaponry, where would you want to test it? Wouldn't some remote, unpopulated islands be the perfect clandestine laboratory to do your testing in? They offer isolation, secrecy, minimal risk of civilian casualties or witnesses. Some theorists suggest the use of experimental weaponry for some of the disappearing islands. We're not talking about conventional bombs here. Claims exist of highly advanced low frequency sonic weapons, powerful vibrational technology that could literally destabilize land masses from below, causing them to crumble or sink. Think about seismic activity induced by human design. Now, even more speculative are concepts of tectonic manipulation, attempts to directly influence Earth's crust, causing collapses or subsidence. Yes, Steve.
That would be called HARP.
Hard.
HAARPE. Just so you know.
I like how AARP is hidden.
Shut your face, Brett.
Can you figure out a way to get a picture of his shirt online? I'm sure the viewers will love to see it. While Brett's
I'm
working
too
on
old
that
for your stuff, Brett.
for this crap. Oh, me, I love that shirt. A disappearing island in this context could be the devastating, perhaps even unintended consequence of a clandestine test that's gone horribly wrong, or even a demonstration of power that we can't fathom. You might ask, who would go to such lengths? Some believe that islands are deliberately removed to make way for secret underwater military bases. Can you imagine? Anyway, some say that they're removed to clear paths for new unseen submarine routes, which I don't get at all. How big of a problem is it for a submarine to maneuver around that? Anyway, some also say that they're removed for deep sea stealth operations that demand undisturbed environments. The vast deep ocean provides the ultimate cover for operations that require absolute secrecy. The natural disappearances simply provides the perfect alibi. Now, the most unsettling theories, those involving geoengineering and aggressive resource extraction. What if human attempts to control or exploit the planet are literally wiping islands off the map? Now, the idea of unacknowledged geoengineering is very unsettling. Governments and private entities are researching large scale climate intervention. I'm sure you've heard of things like ocean fertilization, solar radiation management, carbon capture. But what if some of those colossal experiments conducted far away from public scrutiny are having disastrous, unintended side effects? Could altering ocean currents, for instance, be causing catastrophic erosion patterns that obliterate islands much faster than nature intended? Perhaps more deliberately, attempts to reshape coastlines or to create new land lead to compensatory destruction elsewhere. Then there's the relentless pursuit of resources that we talked about earlier. The deep sea is a treasure trove rich with rare earth minerals, polymetallic nodules, and untapped oil and gas. The push for deep sea mining is escalating. Could aggressive, poorly regulated, or even illegal mining operations near island foundations be causing instability and possible collapse? Think about vast dredging machines that literally undermine the geological bedrock that support islands. Or perhaps it's undisclosed offshore drilling that weakens a subsurface structure over time. The motive here is very simple. It's pure unadulterated profit, hidden by the ocean's vastness. Even more overtly, illegal sand mining. The massive uncontrolled removal of sand for construction can leave islands utterly defenseless against natural erosion.
One of the things, Jerry, that you brought up there was dredging.
Yep.
Last time I was on a cruise, we were parked in, and I forget the name of I forget which country we were in, what island, but they were dredging the bay that the ships were parked in to make room for another port to allow more cruise ships in. And that was amazing. I sit there and watched that for like a couple of hours of how they just pull up. They have this huge, and it's ship. I mean, it's huge. This big dredge that they just pull up this dirt, put it in the ship. All the water drains out of the bottom, and you can see the water coming out of the bottom of the ship, and it's muddy or whatever, and all the mud and the gunk stays in the ship. And then they sail it out to the ocean and drop it off and bring it back and do it all over again. It's impressive.
It is. Earlier, we were talking about China and their man-made islands in the South Sea. That's basically what they do to create those islands.
Yeah.
They go somewhere and dredge all this up, put it on ships, send it out to where they want the new island to be, and dump it. And you dump enough, and you've got a man-made island.
Yeah. Which we'll get into some of why we do that or why countries do that here in a little while. But it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane that we have the technology available to be able to do it. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is. I'm through, guys, except one last comment. For total transparency, there's little to no evidence that any of this has ever went on. We can say we have the potential, we have the ability, little to zero evidence that any of this has ever caused an island to disappear. But when has lack of evidence ever stopped a good conspiracy theory?
Well, I'll tell you what. I am a person who dives into most conspiracy theories head on. However, this is one that I can't bite into. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's the same reason that I believe that a lot of the conspiracy theories about global warming all happen. We are such a in the grand scheme of things, we like to make ourselves a lot bigger than we are. And we have this world has a way of regulating us and putting us back in our place at the drop of the hat, be it a volcano or an earthquake. Same thing with ocean rise and ocean drop. You know, we can talk all we want to about what we're going to do to rise the oceans or drop the oceans we have zero control over the oceans. I really believe that. I mean that. However,
Zero?
what?
Zero?
Less. Okay, it's not zero. It's like 0.0000001.
The reason I ask that is when you look at all of the glaciers that have melted, and we know that those are rising.
Sure.
You don't think that man?
We've had a very small contributing part to that.
To
and I'll say this, and then we'll move on because we could
We
debate
say we
this
as
forever.
Americans or we as
People.
go
humans.
ahead
But
and
here's the
volcano
thing. Here's the thing. One volcano spews out enough CO2 to offset every bit of CO2 humans have ever created.
You're wrong by magnitude of 1 million. The exact opposite is true, and we can Google it. I mean, what you're saying is not even it's not even resembling accurate.
Okay.
And I have actually sent you proof of that numerous times, and you said you had read it, and
Ah.
either you didn't, you thought it was all BS,
Well, you know.
or it went in one ear and out the other, because that is not even close to being accurate.
Okay.
Mm.
Just saying.
I'm just saying,
As
every scientist on Earth says that's not even
as
close
soon
to
as
accurate.
those scientists that say that and those politicians that say that stop using the jets that they do to go around to all the
Oh, so now you're
conferences
going to
to
make the
which they
excuse
say
why it's
that?
their fault.
No, I'm just saying if it's such a big deal, they probably would find another way to get there.
So
That's all I'm saying.
according to Google,
Yeah, let's
humans emit 60 or more times the amount of carbon dioxide released by volcanoes each year.
No, there you go. I
Each
stand
year.
correct.
And you just said that one volcano released more than we'd ever done. I mean, it's not even close to being accurate.
I stand correct.
At least you're standing.
No, I probably wouldn't if I were standing. All right. So when an
Yeah,
island
there-
goes,
Sorry to interrupt, but
Okay.
real quick. I have never been a big believer in orthopedic shoes, but now I stand corrected.
oh my gosh, this guy got jokes.
Good ones too.
Jokes
No.
from experience.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Can we show some of those memes he's hitting me?
He had them ready.
Especially with the one
He
he's
just
playing with the dinosaurs.
Fired them off.
Like that one. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go
No,
ahead.
you're good. So when an island goes underwater, it's not just a patch of land that's lost. it's literally a whole way of life. Families have to leave their home that they've had for generations. They lose access to fresh water for farming, to everything familiar. And unlike typical migrants, they're not moving because of war or jobs or food. They're being pushed out literally by the ocean that doesn't care about borders or treaties. For countries like Tuvalu or Kiribati, the question is, if your land disappears, are you still even a country? That's tricky. Some governments try to preserve their cultural dignity, like recreating, oh gosh, sorry.
Hate it when
Some-
the page jumps around.
Yeah, it does, and it's stupid, and I don't know how to fix that. So basically, some governments try to preserve their cultural dignity, recreating the land and the islands based on future generations so they have something to connect to. It's a way of saying we exist even if our land doesn't. On a much bigger scale, much like Dubai and China, they just make their own new islands. It messes with international laws and politics, and especially in the case of China, this is the entire reason they're making new islands, to try to push that boundary on out, and in this particular case, closer to Taiwan so they can claim it as their own, to be honest. And that's not a geopolitical thing. That's just it for anybody who has a brain, that's what they're doing. The
is
South
literally.
China Sea is they are trying to dominate that
Entire
within
area.
within world maritime laws. That's
Yep.
the reason they're doing that. That's why conspiracy theories tend to pop up, like in Burmesia, because suddenly power and money are on the line. Mexico lost, would you say, 22 billion barrels of
22.5
oil
billion
because that
barrels of
planet
oil.
or that particular island poofed. People are responding in different ways. Some build seawalls or elevate lands. Some are even buying land in other foreign countries for relocation. Few are experimenting with floating cities. Meanwhile, activists push for more and better legal protections, especially since climate refugee isn't even an official category yet. At the end of the day, disappearing islands show us what's coming, not just for small nations, but big coastal cities, Miami, LA, San Diego, in America, to name a few. It's a reminder that we have to act fast and that saving the stories and the culture of these places matters as much as trying to save the land itself. That's what I got. I think that governments will use the disappearing or the appearing idea of islands for their own gain, but in a real term, regardless if it's man-made or it's natural global warming, the oceans will continue to rise, and we have to prepare ourselves to do what we need to do to make that as safe as possible, especially in the United States. Most of our huge cities, with the exception of Washington and Chicago, are on the coast.
A lot of them.
Just something to think about.
How do you prepare? I don't have a clue. I'm in California. You know, they're saying that a big portion of California could be underwater in, I don't know, 50, 60, 100 years.
Well,
whatever.
California has a separate and completely different issue, and that's the San Andreas Fault. That
That
in and
theory
of
says it'll just
itself,
drop
We have
off and fall in.
yeah,
We have
That's
the new
Not be
Madrid.
underwater, just
the New Madrid Fault is unbelievable. And they say that if the New Madrid Fault ever gets above a 7.0, like it will create a new ocean in the center of the country.
Yeah.
That's
It's
huge.
literally right above us.
Right,
So
right.
It'll like wipe out the whole city.
All of
Memphis.
Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
And you know, Jerry, I know that's a shock to you hear that from me, but I do want to put the caveat that the world is cyclical. And as humans, we're the first, I believe, the first that have the ability to kind of have a little bit of control of what we're doing in this world. But we have to be prepared to understand that the world will regulate with or without us, and we have to adjust to that. But like you say, we have to be prepared for that, because if not, I mean, how many million of people live in New York City?
Mhm.
It's right on the Atlantic Ocean. Let's just back up a step. How many people of American ilk live within 50 miles of a coastline?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think
Good
you're
portion.
you're in the middle of the country, it's not going to affect you. Well, those people got to find somewhere to go.
Right?
That's going to affect you in some way.
Just something to keep in the back of your mind. There is an actual map of a doomsday map of the United States. If you pull this map up and you see all the levels that are going to be above water in a global catastrophe, look who owns all of that land. It's going to blow your mind.
Who?
You want me to tell you, or do you want to look it up?
No, yeah, just tell us.
Bill Gates.
That's so not true.
That
Now,
dude's-
here's the bottom line.
dude's-
As far as private investors, he owns more than anyone. But he's also, do you know what he's doing with 95% of his wealth? What's he doing with
Giving it away?
it? Not to his kids, not to in-laws or outlaws. He's giving it away. He's told his family, I think it's 99%. He said, you're not, going to be. He's one of the wealthiest people in the world. He showed his kids, you're not going to be because of me. If you are one of the richest, you'll earn it. He's going to leave them wealthy. He's given the vast majority of his money away. The reason that he owns more than any other individual is because he owns way more land than any other individual in America.
According to Google, the Emerson family is the #1 owner of doomsday map land in the United States, followed closely by Bill Gates.
But do you know what Bill Gates for a long time has publicly said that he was investing in for real estate? What has he said he's investing in?
What's that?
Farmland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Now,
farmland.
guess what? When you're talking about land that won't be underwater, guess what's not on the coast? Farmland in the Midwest. What does he own? Farmland. So I think it's kind of leading toward a conspiracy theory when you say, guess who owns the land that won't be underwater? Bill Gates. I think it's because of what Bill Gates has long said that he's investing in, combined with the fact that he's at one point was the richest man in the world. So,
Kentucky looks safe in the doomsday map. just
well,
saying.
yeah, well,
Parts
it's
of
Central
it.
America. Most
Parts
Well,
of it.
some of Central America doesn't look safe.
Yeah, it's
Not
because
all.
anything in the Mississippi Valley will not be safe.
Within what, 50, 100 miles? Well,
Oh, yeah,
50,
absolutely.
60 miles of the Pacific River.
The point is that our landscape on a world level is always changing.
Oh, it is.
From 100 million years ago to today,
And
it's
forevermore.
different and
will be.
forevermore.
When you bring up a great point about volcanoes, even though you were wrong, right? But like, just a volcano emitting, like if what was it? There's one in the United States that if it emits, like it's gonna send us in another ice age. I can't
That
remember
would
which
be
one.
that's easy. It's the Yosemite or the
Is it
Yosemite.
St. Helens or
Mount
something?
St. Helens is a volcano. But if the volcano under Yellowstone ever erupts, it sends the whole world into
Right.
the Stone Age.
So,
It's a super volcano. Our country will cease to exist as we know.
Yeah.
We'll be in a nuclear winter
that's
for
a
the
natural-
next 150
it's
years.
a natural phenomenon that we can't control.
As an example to people, we have a great deal of people that listen to this show all over the world. A lot of people can't understand how big the United States is. From here to Yellowstone, from where we're recording in central Kentucky to Yellowstone, is a day-long drive. It's at least 14 hours.
Oh, it's way more than
Driving.
that. Yeah.
I'm saying if you just don't stop, you don't pee, you don't drink, you just drive.
Yeah.
14 hours. If Yellowstone erupts, our state will be buried within 3 feet of ash.
Yeah.
14 hours away. That's how big Yellowstone is.
Earlier, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I think from my limited understanding, it's impossible when you're saying we need to be prepared. Whether it's Yellowstone erupting or we're talking about the sea rising and the coastlines going underwater, how do you prepare for that? How do you begin to prepare for the homes of
Well,
a
As
big
an-
portion of America.
as an
need homes.
example, you learn a little bit from what they're doing down in New Orleans. New Orleans is already underwater. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
they're below sea level. Most of New Orleans.
You can't build levees along the West Coast or in the East Coast.
Individual cities is what I'm saying. I don't know the answer. That's my first guess. And you prepared to start moving your cities inland. I don't know how you do that, but that's for a job much bigger and stronger.
Well,
and
that's never going to happen. It's just until it happens.
right. No, that's exactly right. That's never going to happen until it happens. Because would you want to move from Miami Beach to, Podunk, Georgia?
Right.
No.
It's the opposite. Everybody wants to move to the ocean.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen until it
That
happens.
happens.
That was an interesting episode, but our journey isn't over yet. If you stay tuned, we have an exciting bonus story coming up after this commercial break.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. When it comes to buying a home, the process can be overwhelming and confusing. With so many options, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why it's important to work with a certified mortgage loan originator. I have the knowledge and expertise to guide you through the process and find the best mortgage option for you. I will work with you every step of the way to ensure that you are getting the best deal possible. So if you're looking to purchase or refinance, please reach out to me at 502-680-0953. So don't take on the stress of buying a home alone. Work with me and I will make your dream a reality. Trust the professionals and make your home buying experience a positive one. MLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, MLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is equal housing opportunity.
If you would like to share suggestions for future episodes, an intriguing ghost story, or simply tell us how much you love or hate us, please get in touch with us. You can reach us via email at newsworthywithstephencherry@gmail.com or send us a text at area code 540-709-1318.
And now, back to the story.
Few stories of mythical creatures have been around for as long as the tales of the Yeti. With reported sightings going back centuries, the Yeti has been talked about with a degree of reverence and has even been discussed in the ancient religious texts of the Buddhist monks. As the legend has it, tribes who inhabited the Himalayan mountains would tell stories about the Yeti to dissuade children from wandering too far away from their homes, especially at night. Folklorists trace the origin of the Yeti to a few sources, including Sherpa folklore. As one story goes, the Yeti was a part of the pre-Buddhist beliefs of the Himalayan peoples. The Lepcha people worshipped what they called a glacier being as a god of the hunt. Historians also reported that followers of the Bon religion once believed that the blood of the Mai Regard, or wild man, had mystical powers when used in certain spiritual ceremonies, hence why Himalayan people sometimes hunted the Yeti. Though eyewitness reports vary, the Yeti is said to be at least 6 foot tall, muscular, ape-like, and covered with grayish white or reddish brown hair. The beast is thought to weigh between 200 and 400 pounds, and the Yeti is said to emit a horrifying roar when confronted, a howl so terrible it's been said to cause avalanches.
Today's episode brought to you by our great sponsors, Ed Locke at USA Mortgage and Smoking Gun Jerky of Lincoln, Nebraska. Use code CRYPTID10 for a great discount. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.